I have screeners questions because I read up on this and I can't figure it out.
Because I feel like
no, let's talk about that.
We want to see the movies. I mean, you know, those DVDs are being requested from the filmmakers so that people that are voting can see the movies, and now there are going to be more people seeing the movies. Now we want to expand the number of people seeing.
No,
the movies.
and my argument is that people should have seen the movies because they were of enough profile that people knew they existed. And
but they come and go because they come and go quickly. If you're not in town that week that it's playing at the Sunset 5.
Well, the same argument can be made then for Best Picture and for Best Actress and all those categories, which don't require DVDs.
They give the studios a lot of money, put out those DVDs for the scripted features and send them all around. They don't do that for documentaries generally.
Right,
so we do that. The branch does that for documentaries.
So let's talk about that middle section. We talked a little about the qualifying rule changes. Let's talk about that middle section, which is the rule change that it goes from the committee format into the entire 160 members of the branch, sort of proactively picking these are my top 15 films, and then you kind of calculate from that. There's a requirement then that you're asking 160 people to now watch, albeit broken out over the course of a year, about 100 films. Is that reasonable?
There were 124 films this year submitted.
Right, but this year was a 16-month window, so let's go with, say, 100 films as an average number.
It was more than that, wasn't it?
No, that's what the Academy did.
Yeah.
116? 100.
It was 120.
There's a lot.
124 submitted, and 157 were on the documentary, committee.
So let's call it 120 for the sake of argument. You're asking 157, 160 branch members to watch 120 films. Even if you're staggering them out evenly over the year, you're asking filmmakers to watch 10 feature-length documentaries a month, and they're not going to be evenly staggered out like that. So while the spirit of the rule change makes sense, actually, in reality, what's going to happen? Are we going to get a lot of people voting, proactively picking the films that they heard about, they read about on IndieWire, they saw Steve blogging about, they have a big name director, or they have print and advertising budget to get their name out. How many people? What are the safeguards to ensure that people are actually watching films? Because as we know in our world, sometimes sleeper films that you thought, oh my God, this is going to depress the hell out of me, I have no desire to watch this film, and then you stick it in and it blows your mind away. That happens all the time in our world. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, there are two, because that was also one of my concerns, and a few other people in the branch. And there are two proposals on the table right now to make sure that every film is seen by multiple members. So, I mean, that's not going to be a problem. But what you won't have is what you're saying. It's highly unlikely that all members are going to watch all 124 films. It's just unlikely. So they'll based on who the filmmaker is, what they've heard about the film, if it has been theatrically released.
Is it an American film versus a non-American film that maybe hasn't penetrated our consciousness in the same way?
If it has been released in the United States and has had a legitimate theatrical release, chances are higher that we've heard of it, we know about it, and that we'll watch it. People like me, I'll watch a lot of them anyway. I think a lot of people in our branch will, because they take it very, very seriously. We all do.
Is there an actual technical safeguard? Like if you haven't watched this, then you can't put next?
Yes, that's one of the procedural things that, is a lot of us are very adamant to ensure. Yeah, and there are some people that say maybe that shouldn't be the case. If a film, slips through the cracks and no one's heard of it, no one watches it, it's, that's the way it is with the dramatic, the scripted films as well.
Yeah, so
I have a real hard time with that myself, but it's there are safeguards in place to make sure that every film gets watched.
Okay, Steve, you have something?
Yeah, are you still going to ask them to score each film, or are you just going to say vote for your 5 favorites and then add up the votes, which would really skew in favor of the films to get seen by more people?
Yeah, you vote for your top 15.
So basically, besides the safeguard option, it's just a microcosm of what happens in every other category, which is that studios send screeners of all their movies to people, and they don't watch them all. They watch the ones they're interested in, or that they've read about, or they got good reviews, and those are the ones that they watched. Only here there's going to be some sort of safety net that says somebody will watch, will at least watch, every movie once. But that's what happens with regular movies.
That's right.